So now that you've successfully gotten through the workflow for whichever option you've chosen, both the code space and the local will be the same as far as this last step goes. So what you're going to do is submit your private repo commit history URL. Now this can sound complicated, but I'm going to show it to you. But just know this is how you submit and going forward in the code alongs or maybe in the development stuff. And actually the second thing you're going to set up is your URL, and I should have put that here for your GitHub public repo. Okay, and this is what you will use when we're doing discussions, which you're going to do next. Okay, so how do you get this repo? In this case, no matter which option you're using, I'm going to go out to GitHub, and I'm in our course organization. And so what you're going to be submitting to me is the private repo commit history. So find the repo I've been working on it again because you have pushed, you should have in the previous item pushed code to GitHub. Now you should see those changes here. Okay, and so what we're looking at here is just a list of files. So one of the things I really have students understand is their commit history, because part of almost every assignment is that you have to have certain commits. So to do that, you come over to right in this listing under the green button where it says code, you'll see commits. Now for you at this point, I think you should probably only have 3, but again, mine will have more because I've done some work since then. But it doesn't matter, because when you click here on commits, then you get a URL that gives me the commits. And in this case, because I clicked on the private repo and not a subdirectory, I got the commits just for everything in that repo. Now the reason I'm talking about that is if I went into Git help and I hit commit or hit history here, I would only see those commits for that folder, and that's going forward what it looks like. But in this sense, you get it, and that's redundant in this case, but you find that URL based on the location you are in your repo. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my private again, and this is, I'm showing you how to do this. Click in here, go up to the URL, copy that. Okay, so that URL in this item, and I'm going to go ahead and actually go down here because at this point you're ready to submit this item, and that's the URL. Now we're not done yet because in the comments I'm going to have you do the second part of this. So first just look at it, right? You can see it's the organization, it's your private, it's commits and main. Okay, so we're going to do something else here, so we're not going to submit. Okay, so that's the first part. So the second part of this, let me just stay here because we're right here, is that now what we're going to do in GitHub is we're going to go back to the base organization. We're going to find your public repo. Now on your public repo, I don't really ask for commit history because this is what everybody in the class will see. And generally what they want to see is a website because that's where we're creating content. Now for the first part of the class, not so much, but it's still something in the next item. I'm going to show you how to set up an index page and a main.js. So in here, what we're going to do while you're in their public is you go over to settings. And under settings, what you want to do is scroll down until you see pages. Okay, so when you're in your public, and again, remember, this is only for the public and not for the private. So for the public, in this case, go to pages. And down in pages, what you're going to do here is we're going to select a branch. I believe this should be what yours says. If not, please reach out. I've checked a couple to see, because sometimes if you've already turned it on, you know, there's some troubleshooting to do. So try just leave this on once you have it. So what you'd go down to branch and you'd select main. And under there, it'd be the root, and just go ahead and hit save. And now at this point, Okay, and we're going to deploy, I think that's all we need to do at this point. And then we should be able to come, it's currently being built on the main, and then we should be able to come back here in a few minutes. And this is part of why I have you do this now. I'm just checking this to make sure, because this interface right here, the options here have changed. So I'm going to hit refresh just to see if it takes a moment here to show up. And I might pause just to give it a moment for it to do its thing, because that's the point of me having you do this here. It did. Is that this URL, notice it just showed up, and all I'm doing here is I'm hitting refresh. And if I visit this, so this is a URL from here on out, and I'm going to go ahead and click here to show you. And this is going to be starting the URL from the base folder. Now for the next item, actually we'll have you create a folder, and then I'll show you how to use the same URL for that. Okay, so I'm going to hit back for a minute. Okay, I'm going to just show you that's where it's at. So you go into your public repo, you go to settings, you go to pages, you set main branch, hit save, and then wait a few minutes, and then this should show up as your URL. Now what you're going to do here is don't ever unpublish it. I've had students do that. I mean, it's not a big deal. I've helped them figure out how to get it back. But I'm going to go back here one more time. I'm going to grab this URL, copy it, okay? And now in that same assignment link under comments, I want you to give me this one, right? So if you get these reversed, not a big deal. But I really want to see that you have set this up so you're ready for the next assignment. Okay, hope that's clear. Like I said, from now on, when you're doing code alongs, this is the type of URL you'll give me. And then when you're doing discussions where we're all sharing the work we've done, then you would do that here, and you would go ahead and submit.